Hello and welcome guys, so here it is, the BZ-72-1, and it's for 22,500 gold. So I can tell you that much, I don't think it's worth that amount of gold at all. It's just another tier 10 tank. Okay, you can spare yourself the grind for having a tier 10 Chinese tank, but that tank is almost already existing as the BZ-75. We're gonna take a look at it very soon. I can tell you that much, it's nothing special, it's completely overpriced. So take a look at this, 22,500 gold equals 75 euro or around 76 euro. This is far too much for a digital good in my opinion. You can buy yourself like a complete new game with that amount of money, or at least 2 or 3 like discounted prices, for example Steam or somewhere else, wherever you buying your games. This is so much money for a tier 10 tank, which is kind of already existing, and we're gonna take a look at the stats now. So let's first take a look at the overall stats of the server the last 30 days, and we are searching for the BZ-72-1 or whatever it is called, and we can see it just had 186 battles. So I think only a bunch of super testers were able to play this tank, and now it's getting released already. So this is not very much. It seems to be now one of the rarest tanks for sure, because it's not released yet and not a lot of people played it. So let's take a look at the win rate of all tier 10 tanks and where it is. It is very far up of the win rate tree, kind of. Yeah, concerning that a lot of people, or the people who played it, must have been pretty good. They know what they are doing. I think this is like a little bit washed, of course, because of this. But at least it's able to do in 186 matches of the old server a win rate of 54% or almost 55%, which is a good sign. So let's just take a look at the damage per game. And here it's a little bit beyond other tanks, with 2,300 damage around that. It's still pretty good, and still one of the better ones, or one of the best ones, or let's say there are not so many, it's one of the better ones. And let's just take a look for fun at the block damage, which tells us how much the armor is worth, and it's kind of in the middle, so lots of tanks above it, but also quite a lot of tanks beyond it. Well, it's kind of in the middle, blocks around 880 damage per game, so nothing to count on, but it's possible to use the armor a little bit. So it looks pretty good, but will it hold up to the rest of the statistics? We're gonna take a look. Just taking a short look at the BZ-75, which is here, and as you can see, it has like almost the same amount of damage per game, so that's very interesting in my opinion. It doesn't, yeah, it's not like that BZ-72 is like overperforming the BZ-75 in terms of damage per game, even though a lot of very good people seem to play it, the BZ-72. As you can see here, it has a very high amount of the win rate, and the BZ-75 has less win rate, but is almost doing the same amount of damage. So even though more people are playing the BZ-75 and making more mistakes and are not so experienced, it's still possible to do more damage in that thing overall than in the BZ-72 number 1 or whatever it's called. So that's a little foreshadowing what's going to be seen in the stats. So here it is, the BZ-72-1, and yeah, not so surprising from the looks of it. It has like the rocket engine booster thing, whatever, and yeah, looks nothing so surprisingly from some of the other rocket tanks. They don't look so different from it. Let's take a look at the armor, and already you can see that if it's using its gun depression, upper plate very strong, lower plate very bad. It has a little bit, no, not big cupola, but it's gonna be possible in close combat to hit that somehow. If it's side scraping, it can do it to a certain degree, but not too much. Then the first part here becomes easy to pen. Let's check out how much penetration this is. 260, which is good for a heavy tank. Heat 320, not too bad as well. Both are good amounts. You can definitely use this for in-game massacres. And if you're going to heat, that's interesting. Even if you're shooting 320 penetration heat, that upper plate is still pretty good. Just hide the lower plate, and now of course side scraping becomes much more difficult. It's almost impossible to bounce something here or to make a certain amount of block damage. Yeah, so far to this. Let's check immediately out how the BZ-75 looks like in terms of armor. This is the tech tree version of it. You can see the rocket stuff, of course, on the ass, and it's definitely has a different turret, but the armor is pretty good as well, and I would say even a little bit better. The problem are the 3 weak spots here, those cupola things and the gun kind of, I don't know what this is, the little rooftop here. If it's using its gun depression, we go around here. Very hard to penetrate, or almost impossible. Only hitting the weak spots, which are bigger or more weak spots, and it has a big lower plate with almost the same amount of penetration. It's still almost impossible to penetrate frontally, and here we go, side scraping with feet. Not impossible, but of course big weak spot here, but still not as big as the other BZ, and with normal shells it can side scrape a little bit more, and it has some more nasty angles, I guess. This is already with normal penetration here easy to pen. That thing is still holding up quite good. So I think so far from terms of armor, the BZ-75 might be more comfortable for side scraping a little bit, and the BZ-72 has just this weak spot. This one is a little bit small. Yeah, this is yeah, turret wise difficult to judge, I guess, but I think still the BZ all in all, even with those weak spots, can use its armor a little bit more effective. Let's check out the HE penetration, 90mm, BZ-72, 65mm. So yeah, we can definitely see this thing doesn't have a little advantage of the HE shells against soft armored opponents. Let's check the stats. With 2336 damage per minute, this is not too crazy, I would say. 560 alpha damage, this is a good amount, but if we compare it with the tech tree, it has less damage per minute, tech tree version, but 650 alpha damage, and with that kind of mediocre damage per minute, I would even say alpha is more important than the damage per minute, because when you play randoms mostly, you want to have at least that big trade advantage. So let's check out the rest. Dispersion is a little bit better than the tech tree version of the BZ with 0.38, but yeah, nothing to brag. It will be a little bit more accurate. Let's check out the top speed, 30 km per hour. It's the same like the tech tree BZ rocket boosters, 6 uses, and it goes for 10 seconds. This thing will just have 5 uses and also 10 seconds of that, yeah, advantage. Terrain resistance, not too bad, not too good, but at least better than the tech tree version. The tech tree version really struggles in soft terrain. I guess that's why it has the rocket boosters to get out of the swamp areas. But this BZ-72 definitely has better terrain resistance in soft terrain, but also has 1 rocket booster less. So 8 degrees of gun depression, which is good for a heavy tank. BZ-75 has it as well. So 2200 HP health, that's pretty bad in comparison with the BZ-75, which has 2500. So I would say we can already state that the BZ-75 comes more with the armor, or is more focusing on the armor and more alpha damage, while the BZ-72 tries to be a little bit more mobile, but it's not really working because it has one less rocket booster, almost the same amount of damage per minute, but a little bit more accurate gun, less alpha damage and less health, which can't be a good thing for a heavy tank, I would say. If it would really be very much faster, then it could be played more like an assault tank. But as we can see here, the power to weight ratio is 12.66, and this one is 16 to 67, so it will be more agile than the other BZ. But will it be worth it with the trade for the armory? I don't think so. It has 400 meters of view range, which is good. The BZ-75 has 390, a little bit worse, but of course this one is a tank which you want to drive into the enemy, and this one comes more likely with a strategy of circling the enemy somehow, or flanking it. Maybe you can compare it quite good with the Object 277 a little bit. Let's take a look at this thing. Here's the Object 277. Yeah, it has strong upper plate, strong turret if you're angling it right, and more DPM, more or better dispersion, far better top speed, and all in all, it's just much more better for trying to circling enemies or flanking them than the BZ-72. Considering it just has 30 kilometers per hour top speed, I don't think, I don't see that thing working so good actually. Well, yeah, against people who are just shooting normal shells, that might work, definitely. But I think actually the tech tree version is still a better tank. Same amount of gun depression as well. Can angle a little bit better. And it has more alpha. So you have to make up your mind now. Will it be worth it to buy that thing, or just to maybe grind the BZ-75, which is not so different, but still, if you're a big friend of those rocket booster stuff and you want to have as much tanks of that kind as possible, of course you can go for it. But I think as long as there's the tech tree version of that thing, kind of, it's not a big enough difference, then I would say I would buy this now. Just no sense. I don't see any sense in that. So I hope you have a great time in the auction. I hope that helped you a little bit. If you buy for it, I wish you good luck. And if not, I wish you all the best on the battlefield. Thanks guys for watching, and cheers bros.